Good morning. I don't know what day it is, but good morning. I hope everyone is doing well. I didn't make a video yesterday because I pulled something in my back, or there's a nerve that's pinched. So I was not mobile yesterday. I'm doing a little better today, which is why I'm making the video. I'm on my way to work. So yesterday, due to what happened to me, is what's prompting the video for today. And I don't know what I'll call it, but it has to do with embracing pain. Maybe that'd be the title, Embracing Pain. So I was actually making my bed and trying to straighten out the covers, and so when I was stepping over something and reaching across my bed at the same time, and so something happened in my back, in my lower back, and something with the nerve, and it just like stopped me in my tracks, and any way I moved it would cause pain. So and as soon as it happened, I already knew why it happened. And as I said before, every physical pain that you experience is related to the non-physical. It's spiritually related. It is a message. Whether it's physical pain, emotional pain, what else? Physical pain, emotional pain. I think that's it. It doesn't matter what. Any kind of pain is a message from the other side. And what's interesting is I posted it on Facebook because I've never experienced this before. And so I was asking, for any advice or suggestions as to what to do, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to overcome the pain, and I really could not move. Like, it took me an hour and a half just to think about how to get out of the bed to use the restroom, because I just couldn't, So it was a pain. Like I said, it was a pain that I've never ever felt before. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what it was. So I was asking people what it was, and interestingly, there were a lot of people who messaged me privately. They didn't really respond in the public post, but they were sharing their thoughts. They were sending their love. I even had people offer to come to my house and help me if I needed to, get around and get to the doctor, which was surprising to me because I didn't grow up with that kind of support. So it was appreciated, but it was foreign at the same time, which was really interesting, which told me or let me know that there were some other things that I was suppressing. So anyway, so during this time, like I said, I couldn't move, and immediately, not immediately, but as I was sitting, I couldn't do anything else but sit. So, once I was able to stand, then, I made sure I didn't sit back down, because that's where the pain happens, for the most part. Anyway, oh wow, you're getting in the sun just as I am. So, embracing pain. So, as I was sitting there or lying there, whichever one it was, I was thinking about why all these things were happening, like why that happened, all the gifts, because I see the pain is really a gift. The pain is a gift for you to basically stop you in your tracks to see something. And number one, to see the emotional imagery that is within you that's causing the pain in the first place. But then there are some other things that are attached to it that are actually loving, or they allow you to live in love. And I thought I would share that today because, like I said, pain is there for a reason. It's not just there to hurt you, but it's there to get your attention. And so, for the most part, if you're not a conscious being, if you live unconsciously, then you won't be able to see this. And what I mean by that is, we are consciousness. We live our lives. We are consciousness, first of all. That's what we are on a soul level. We have consciousness. That's what our soul is, consciousness. And when we come here into physical form, there's sort of a split where we have our soul's consciousness, but then it's almost like it's divided, and so there's another part that starts to develop, which is where our free will comes from, the duality, if you will. You know, to make the choice to make loving decisions or make a choice to make unloving decisions. So, if you are an unconscious being and you're not aware, because that's what consciousness is, it's an awareness, then you won't see anything. You just can't. And if you live in judgment, then that means you're unconscious. You're not really conscious. You're not really aware. So if you live in judgment and you have pain, then the first thing that you would ask is, why is this happening to me? What did I do wrong? That's what did I do wrong to deserve this, is basically what's going to happen if you live in judgment. If you apply judgment to yourself and other things in your life, then that's the only result you can get, is judgment of yourself and others. It cannot be any other way. If you live in judgment, then that's what you get in return. But judgment is unloving, so everything attached to that perception through that lens of judgment is going to be unloving. You can't get out of it. It's just the way it works, you know? If you live in mud, then you're going to be covered in mud. You can't. I mean, that's really how simple it is. So, if you are conscious and you are aware of yourself and others around you and your actions and other things, then you allow yourself to see things that someone in judgment wouldn't normally see or wouldn't see. So, as I was lying around the house, I started to think about what am I supposed to see that's there to benefit me? What gifts are present within this pain? And so the first thing that came to mind was all of these people who experienced what I'm currently experiencing. Like, there are people within my circle, or sometimes, some of them I work with, some of them are family members, and some of them are just friends that have this kind of back problem where it makes them immobile and they can't move at all, and the pain is really bad. Well, when I used to hear them talk about their pain, I couldn't relate to that. Like, I was like, okay, hope you feel better. I could not relate. So it was a certain disconnect that was there. There wasn't full compassion for the person because I didn't know what they were going through. All I knew is they kept saying they can't move, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. But I didn't have anything to identify with. So, is that the highway patrol? Yep, let me slow it down. Hold on, I'm distracted because there's highway patrol going behind me. So, when it happened, I immediately had compassion for everyone who has ever had any kind of back pain or back injury. And that was a gift. That was a gift that was within this pain that I was feeling. I could now relate to the people and what they were going through. And this compassion that I had allowed me to identify with what they were going through, have compassion, and have a sense of love rather than judgment. I don't know if you want to call it judgment, but there was an aspect that was like, there wasn't really any concern, I should say. There was a lack of concern. And so when this happens, it allows you to become closer to the people that are experiencing something and build a bond. And I don't even have to talk to these people. Like, it's just there. There's just a connection. Now there's a connection, and it's a positive one. It's now I can see them from a place of love rather from a place of separation. So there's a connection there. And so there are some other things that came about, and it has to do with understanding, because once you understand what someone's going through, then there is a different perspective that you have because you're perceiving it differently. And so there's always gifts in the experience that we're having that's not positive, or that we see that that's not positive. What did I just say? I'm so distracted right now. There are why am I so like this? Look, am I so concerned about this highway patrol and I'm losing my train of thought? Well, I wouldn't blame it on that, because I'm always losing my train of thought. Anyway, yeah, so that's that. There was something else I wanted to talk about. It had to. Oh, yeah. That was actually my main topic. That wasn't my main topic. What I'm talking about, going to talk about now, is actually the main topic. So there. Oh, because okay. So yesterday, these people came knocking on my door. Something from the state, and there's some program where they replace all your like heating and windows and all this stuff because of to make your house more energy efficient, and it's something that I guess I've been paying into through my taxes through the utility company. And so this lady came in, and she was from the Philippines. So she was really, really nice, and I didn't want to get up. I had my my door open, so there was what do you call a storm door? I think they call them. The glass, it's like a glass door. So I said, hey, I have a, I kind of yelled because I didn't want to get up, and she said, oh, I'm not selling anything, and I'm like, oh, here we go. I was like, well, that didn't work because I yelled, I have a back pain. And she goes, oh, that's okay, take your time, I'm not selling anything. I was like, well, I guess I have to get up. So I got up, and I answered the door, or opened the door, I let her in. And she goes, oh, I know how you feel, because I had a back injury 10 years ago. And so automatically, and this is after I had already realized that I was able to identify with people who had this issue. So she was like, oh, I know, take your time, don't move too fast, I had this 10 years ago, and but God is good, and I've worked through it. They try to do surgery and all this stuff, and I told them, no, because I believe that my mind is more powerful. And so she was talking, this stuff, but she was like, God is good, God bless, right? That was her thing. So I already knew right off that she was Christian. And and so, but she was the sweetest woman, just amazingly caring. And so I was like, all right. So she goes through her little thing, and she's like, oh, stay right there, I'll just I just need to take pictures and stuff. And so she was a very compassionate woman. And so this brought me to this understanding of, well, not an understanding, but it's something I thought I should talk about. I already understood it, but I thought I should talk about it. It doesn't matter what religion you belong to. It doesn't matter what religion you belong to. That's not really what makes the person. I know a lot of people think that it does, but you can have a congregation full of people, and they're all different. Some of them are messy, just frustrated and angry people, and some of them are really kind, loving individuals. And if they all belong to the same religion, then if they all belong to the same religion, and someone is saying that Christians are this and that and the other, or whatever, then how do you explain the difference in love coming from people? How do you explain that if they're all being taught the same thing? How do you explain that? And it's so you can't because it's not. Well, you can explain it, which is what I'm about to do, but you can't say that, all Christians are this and all Christians are that, or all Christians are ignorant because they don't know what they're doing or reading or whatever. Our beliefs, or the religions that we belong to, if you belong to a religion. I personally do not belong to a religion, but if you belong to a religion, that really doesn't define who you are. But what it does define is the person who is saying something about the religion or the people within it. And that's the only thing it really defines. So I know some people who are Christian. They're messy people. They're messy, mean, angry, spiteful people. And on the flip side of that, there are Christians that I know, and the lady that I met was a prime example of that. And who are just loving, and they don't mean any harm. They don't cause any harm. They're very compassionate people. And so it was interesting because she said there's some stuff that I use for my back, and this is how she's managed her pain. And she said, I just, I usually have it with me. She goes, but I had, because these people go house to house, right? I'm talking about the program that, the state has, or because I guess there's a fund for it or something. She said that she had gone to this other house, and this person, had really bad back pain. And so she had gave them the bottle of what she had. And so she didn't remember the name of it. She just knows that she used it, and she gets it from her family in the Philippines. And so she said, I'll call you, and let you know what it is. And I'm like, okay, great, And I didn't think too much of it. And there were some things that had happened as I was, giving my information. I had asked them, are you running my credit? Because I don't like anything on my credit, especially if I'm not looking to have a loan or anything like that. And so what they had told me was, oh no, we don't run your credit, and it's not really, it's like, the state pays for it. And so I was like, okay, so I'm putting in my information in their little iPad thingamajig, and I see this thing and it pops up, and he's like, oh, go ahead and put your information here, but it had asked for my social security number. And I was like, are you sure you're not running my credit? Because I'm thinking, why else would they need a social security number? And so I had got on my computer and logged into the utility thing, because initially the lady had asked me, she said, oh, can I see your bill? Because that's how we determine how much of the program will pay for the stuff. I was like, oh, okay. So I got to the computer, and as soon as I logged in, there was a scam alert, and I just ignored it. I went over to click on see my bill, and then we started having the conversation later, and they were asking me for my information. And so I was having like some reservations about this, and I was like, let me get up and log back in and see what that scam alert was about, because I didn't know if these people were part of that scam, right? So I got up and I did that, and it didn't have anything to do with him. It was something else. So that put me at ease a little bit, but there was still some resistance about this. And I was like, okay. So I asked them again, are you sure you're not running my credit? And they said, no, there's no reason for us to run your credit. I was like, okay. They kept saying the state is paying for it because it's a program that California residents have been paying into, and so if you qualify, then you get it, and it's no charge. I was like, oh, okay. So I put my information in, and the next screen that comes up was verify, like, have you ever lived on this street, and what year, if you own a home, what year did you purchase it? And I'm like, are you sure you're not running my credit? And they said, no, we wouldn't. If that were the case, we would tell you, but we have not been told that this is what they're doing. So then I don't answer the questions, and then my phone rings, And then ring, 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 ring. And I'm like, hello. And this is like, oh, this is Mr. Nelson from so-and-so Financial. And the first thing that came out of my mouth was, are you running my credit? And he said, sir, it's already been ran. And I was like, hold on. I go, you people told me that you